Hello, hello. How's it going? I bet you didn't expect to see me. Welcome to SiahSwag Quilt Block of the Month, November. I am Susan. I am her sister, and I want to make sure that I've got this set up really good before I get totally started here. My sister is currently in the depths of creating a pattern, so I told her I would do November's video. So here I am, like it or not. So, hope you guys have enjoyed the year of quilt blocks, and next month we're going to put it all together and actually make a quilt. Okay, we've got people coming on. Awesome. So, I know Siah normally does this, but I usually prep it for her and then tell her what to do, so it's just leaving out one step. She's a little more eloquent at teaching it than I am. In full disclosure, I tried multiple blocks to get ready for this, and none of them worked out. They weren't the right size, or I didn't like them. So we've tried to keep it kind of a 9-patch theme all year, to where you have these 9 blocks, and then you do something with each of the 9 blocks and put them together. Whether you're doing just regular squares or half squares, or doing the 2 points. Hello from Netherlands. Betsy, I do love my Juki for piecing, and I have a funny story to tell you. I was trying to get this ready the other night, and I had sewn a certain part of it, and then I lost bobbin chicken, and so I changed my bobbin out, and when I started to sew again, it would not sew. I took the whole thing apart. It wouldn't go. I posted on the Juki TL 2010 Facebook a video like, who can help me with this? It was my bobbin little thingy the lever was pushed, and I had my whole machine apart, and I thought, oh no, I broke my machine. So anyways, it's a great machine. I love to use this one for quilting. In fact, I'm in the middle of doing Christmas gifts right now for people in the family of different quilts, and so the Juki's been getting a lot of exercise. I am, however, excited to start. I just got the first draft of my sister's new bag last night, so I'm going to print that off today. And I have a really fun musical idea for a version of it. Thanks. All right, so let's get started. There's people coming on. So, quilt block this month is going to be, I'm just going to show you one portion of it. We're going to be doing little pinwheels. And then we're going to do 5 pinwheels and then 4 solid blocks. And so we're going to be piecing these together. And you can see, they all kind of come together at a seam here in the back. But I'll show you how to make that not so messy. I did see a video once where you open this seam and then everything pushes. So there's a way to open it too, but I have mine all closed and over like this. So here's our pinwheel block. I wanted the finished pinwheel block to be 4.5. And I tried many versions to get there. I tried cutting my initial squares at 3, 2.2 7/8, and then 2 3/4, and none of them are perfect. So I'm going with, I'll tell you what we're going to do, with 3-inch blocks, and then we're going to trim the pinwheel down the way we want it at the end. You could get a more perfect pinwheel without having to trim. It was just barely off, and so it bothered me. So you can mess around with different measurements. So for this block, you need 3 different colors. Color A, you're going to cut 3-inch squares. Hopefully I put this in the description right. 3-inch squares, 10 of them. Okay. And then color B, 3-inch squares, 10 of them. That's going to be our pinwheel. These 2 colors are going to be our pinwheel for this one. And then you need 4.5. So you need 4.5-inch squares, and you need 4 of those. And that's all in the description. So color A, 10 squares, 3 inches. Color B, 10 squares, 3 inches. Color C, 4 squares, 4.5 inches. All right. I'm going to put my 4.5 inches aside because we're not going to need that until the pinwheel is all ready to go. And we are going to start this process here, and I'll kind of show you how we're going to do this. So this I'm going to set aside. My pinwheel I'm going to keep right here because it helps me know how to piece it. All right. So I'm going to mess with some camera angles and see if I can get this a little bit better. Okay, so this first step, you can do this step or not. You can eyeball it if you want, but I don't want to. So this first step is going to seem a little tedious, but I'm going to do all 10 squares at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my darker one, which is my color B, and I'm going to put it face up. And then because my color A is white, that's the side I want to mark on. So I'm going to take one of my white, which is my color A, and I'm going to go right side down. I'm going to line that baby up the best I can. Okay. And then I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to mark 3 lines. I'm going to mark a line down the middle. And then I'm going to mark a line 1/4 inch from the middle on both sides. And if you want to say bada bing, say it. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so I'm going to do that 10 times. Now, I could have done it before the video started, but I'm using disappearing ink. And I was afraid the ink would disappear because it was going to do its job. So we just get to do this together. So we're marking down the middle and then 1/4 inch from both sides. Let me know if this camera angle is okay. Down the middle. And then 1/4 inch. Maybe I should bring that camera in just a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that after this. Now, once again, I'm using 3-inch squares, and when my pinwheels are done, I'm going to be trimming them down. I did try 3 variations to see what would be best, and I don't know. I wanted to get it perfect. And so for me to get it perfect, I think the best way to do it was to trim it. Let me see if I can bring that in even more. Okay, so right side up, right side down. Line down the middle. And then we're going to chain stitch all these together. Now you don't have to mark 1/4 inch on either side of the line if you're really confident. But I found that my 1/4 inch was actually too big. So I've had to really kind of adjust that. Okay. Perfect view. Oh, good. Betsy, how are you? How's the beautiful state of Rhode Island today? You guys, Betsy has the most beautiful home. It's like everything you would think. If you're from the West and you've heard of Rhode Island, it's magical. Oh, it's cold there. I guess that does happen, doesn't it? Betsy, you need to come visit me. Southern Utah is not cold yet. We're still reaching the 70s every day. But it is about to get cold. Colder. Oh, hi, Rose. Oh, good, Teresa. I'm glad you love these quilt blocks. It's been a fun project. Although I will say I'm running out of ideas. Maybe at the end I'll show you my 2 failed attempts before I decided to do pinwheels. The problem is I didn't plan my material very well, and so I don't have very much left. And I even went to the local store to try to buy a little bit more of what I have, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm kind of dealing on scraps right now. So it kind of, which is why I don't have an example square, because I did so many experiments. I used all my material. It's fine. But I do have an example pinwheel, and that's the most important thing. It's raining in California. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to get rain tomorrow, so that tracks. You haven't done a single quilt block, you just want to hang out. Well, that works too. I was looking at my pile of quilt blocks earlier, and I'm excited to piece it together in December. We've decided to do homemade Christmas over here, so I don't want to say too much just in case either of my kids pop on for a second, but in the thick of it, I'm excited. Quilting is involved for sure, which is fun because I haven't really spent a lot of time doing that in the last few years. Go raid your mom's stash. You know what? That is actually a fabulous idea. I did look there, but I didn't have the fabric with me. I did peek in there real quick the other day because I know I'm getting low. But all I have to do, I just won't have three blocks for this month. So that's okay. I'm going to have a random amount of blocks, and it's no big deal. I'm just not sure what I'm going to be able to make next month. Okay, almost there. So if you're just joining, we're doing pinwheels. So they're going to look like this. I'm just using a different material. And so the first thing we're doing is these 3-inch squares. We just prep them. I'm prepping all 10. There's 10 of color A and 10 of color B, 3-inch squares. And I'm prepping them by drawing a line down the middle and then a 1/4 inch on either side of the middle. So once I have all 10 prepped, I'm going to sew all 10 together. So we kind of just do it in batches. So now we're done marking. Okay, and here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to kind of get these guys in the queue to be sewn. Get over here. So I can just pull them around when I'm ready for them. Okay? So I'm going to, I don't know if this is, let me see if I can fix the view even a little bit more for this part. Okay, so now I'm going to take it and I'm going to sew down one line. So I have 3 lines right now, and I'm going to sew on the right, the very right line. And I'm going to do it for all 10. And just kind of know where your machine is as far as 1/4 inch goes. You can use a special foot if you want. You can, but you know, that's why I marked it, so I wouldn't be off. So I did back stitch at the beginning. You don't have to, but I like to. I back stitch at the end, but I keep it in there. I'm not going to pull it. Now I'm going to slip the next one right in. Slip the next one right in. I'm not reading comments, sorry. Oh, it's raining in the Netherlands? Yeah, it's raining a lot of places right now. It's nice to put a hoodie on. Drink a little hot chocolate. Oh, you just cut out a clutch. That's awesome. I'm excited to cut out Siah's new bag. I got version 1 of it last night, so I'm going to try to pump one out this weekend if I can make time for it. She's been working so hard getting that pattern. So just slipped off. You could pin and clip and all that. I find that cotton's pretty awesome. It just kind of stays where you put it for the most part. So you can see I'm just pulling the next one down, pulling the next one down. And there's 10 of these total. Yeah, I know. I can't wait. I can't wait either. It's a cutie, and I do have an idea to make one musical. So, okay, so now these are all literally chain stitched together. So I'm just taking some scissors and I'm just snipping the thread to pull them apart. I'm going to make a pile of them here. And I can still see the lines on it, which is great because now I'm going to take some bigger scissors. You can do it with a rotary cutter if you want. Doesn't matter. Or you can just cut it in half. Oh my gosh, I forgot to sew it on the other side. Well, classic Susan. Then you're going to take it and you're going to sew the other side. I'm like, why'd that come apart? Listen, it wouldn't be a Susan day without one of those. I thought I was ready pretty quickly. Tee-hee-hee. I'll show you what I did because it's totally fixable. Okay, so now we're going to chain them together, sewing the other side of the center line. Sometimes I forget where I'm at. When I'm talking and reading and sewing at the same time, I forget where I'm at. That's funny. You were screaming at the screen. Betsy, scream louder. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, I just totally forgot where I was at. Okay, so now I'm doing the same thing, and I'm turning the block around just for my own sake. I'm going to sew on the right side again. But you could just sew on the left side, but I'm just turning it so the unstitched line is on the right side again. Make sure my thread's angry. I can feel it. I've got an angry thread. Betsy tried to save me, didn't you, Betsy? That was funny, though. I thought, why'd that just come apart? Everyone thought, I wonder why you're cutting. Yeah, I wondered that too as soon as I did it. How embarrassing. It's all good. This is real life, people. Real life. All right, hopefully that fixed it. Let's see if our thread is happy now. Nope, I can tell it's Is it there? Yep, happy thread. Okay, so same thing, chain stitching, turning it the other way. So I'm on the right side again. I did it to entertain you. Were you entertained? Hi, April. I was trying to see if you were paying attention. Betsy was paying attention because she screamed at the screen. Thank you. Was your husband wondering what you're yelling at? It's like a spectator sport, right? When I sew, because every once in a while it becomes necessary for you to either yell, either vocally or through text. So really, everyone's a member of this team. I've been busy lately getting ready for a concert coming up. We're doing holiday music, which we don't normally do at this November concert, but this year I thought, you know what, we're doing it. Because it's the week before Thanksgiving. We had lots of requests for it. So we're doing this one piece that's so cool. It's Carol of the Bells, but it's done with the piano soloist. So the orchestra accompanies and the piano, there's a big piano solo. And he just came last week for the first time. So we've just been practicing all the background stuff. And it was okay. But then when everyone heard it with him, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm like, yeah, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so the one that I cut prematurely is sitting here crying. So I have one triangle that's ready to be cut. But this one right here, it still needs to be sewn. So I'm just going to put it back right sides together. And I actually still have the line on it. No harm, no foul. Put it in this way. Get in there, you cute little thing. I'm sorry I neglected you. Oh, hi, sister. You didn't see what just happened, did you? No one tell. Sharon, I'm so excited that you're coming. Would you know anything about handicap seating? I am sure that there is some. It's a high school auditorium. So I'll have to. It's a really good question. I will ask that question. Yep. Zoop. Okay, as I said, make sure you sew on either side of the line before this step, or this could have happened to you. Okay, I was just kind of showing you what could happen to you. All right, now we're gonna cut. You can do it with rotary cutter. I find scissors on this step. I don't know why, but it's just very satisfying. Like the sound of scissors. I know I'm a weirdo, but it's very satisfying. Don't know why. So each thing we're doing to all 10 before we move on to the next thing. Okay, so we're slicing and dicing all of them. I used to service the schools in Mesquite, and Bunkerville when I worked for the school district in the ELL department. Oh my gosh, that's really cool. Yeah, isn't it crazy that Mesquite and Logandale and Bunkerville, like they're all part of Clark County School District over in Vegas. It's a huge school district. Huge. Okay, so once you slice them down the middle, this next step is optional, but I am going to do it. I prefer it. It helps me, so. I like to cut these corners away so you don't have dog ears on the next step once we iron them open. So before we iron them open, I like to take the triangle and I cut, like, hopefully you can see this. I'm cutting not the stitches, but right by it. I'm going slice and then at an angle, slice, like that. I'm going to do that on all of these squares before we iron them open. Once again, do you have to? No, it's your quilt. You do whatever you want. This is quilting according to me. My mom probably taught me this. Let's be honest. She's a really good quilter. She would probably not appreciate that I didn't do that other part by the rotary cutter. But I also don't want to move the camera. That's part of it. So we're just taking off all of our little corners. And then we're going to iron these open and make some really cool pinwheels out of them. It's going to be so fun. And so now, even though I started with 3, now I'm working with 20 pieces because I've cut them apart. So if it seems like I'm cutting forever, it's because there's twice as many now. Betsy says, that is a great idea, Susan, for the dog ears. I've been quilting for years and never thought to do it at this point. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can do it at the next point too, right, Betsy? And that's how I was taught to do it at the next point. But if you do it at this point, then after you iron it, you don't have to mess with it. I don't know if it makes a difference. Like most things, it's probably just preference. Whatever your workflow is. Okay, 2 more to go. And then we're going to head over to the iron. Let me give my iron a little attention and get it hot. With my squeaky chair so you know it's me. All right. Last one. I'm just going to take this pile of little goodies and say thank you for your service. Thank you for bringing me joy. Okay, now I'm going to take these over to the ironing board, and I think if I set this phone up, I think we're going to be able to see it. Do it right. Just a minute. Okay, so hopefully you can see my ironing board. Let me just make sure I did it. Looks like my screen is way behind. Yep, okay. So now I just bring these over to the ironing board. All right. And I'm going to iron all of them with my side B up. For me, A is white and B is blue. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want the seam to be under the blue so it won't show through the white. And if I do them all the same, when I attach the pinwheels, they'll all be rotated. So I'm going to do them all exactly the same. So I'm going to just put the blue side down, set those threads, and up we go. Can you see all this? Hopefully this angle is okay. Set the thread. And sorry, if you're seeing comments, I can't see them right at this minute. So I guess you can say whatever you want, and I will have no way of defending myself. Have at it. After almost 20 years, no, more than 20 years, I just bought myself a new ironing board cover. Can you believe it? All these years later? I don't love the way that one worked. I really want to open it. I don't want it having any type of a fold. There we go, that's better. I do just put heat on those threads first and then we open it. It just kind of helps. At least that's what they say. I don't even know who they are, but they say it. It's getting hot. Woo. This area is so hot. It's hurting my hands. I know it's kind of tedious, but if you do this all at once, then you don't have to come back to this, you know what I mean? Until the next step. Right, Carrie?
Absolutely.
Carrie Pectel agrees, everyone.
Susan, you're amazing.
You're amazing. All right. Here we go. We're coming back to this one. All right. You might be born to be a quilter. I love quilting. I am new to lives. I haven't been able to sew for 3 weeks. And it will be another couple months because of foot surgery. So the lives have been my therapy. I didn't know you quilted too, Susan. Well, we're glad that you're here, Sandra. Back in the day, many years ago, when kids were really little, both Kasaya and I got into making like baby quilts and stuff. And then I did try a couple larger ones. But then I really got back into teaching band. And my life I just didn't have any time for it. So it's been many, many years. But our mom is quite the quilter. And so, yeah, it's kind of in our genes, right? So I have my handy dandy pinwheel that I already made right here next to me. And so I'm just looking at it to make sure that I have it right. Okay. So there it is. And so I think, let me think about this. Is this the same either way? Wait, did I just mess that up? I didn't think about that. I bet this is the same no matter which way we put it. Oh, it is. It's the same. Okay. So I am going to just stack 2 stacks. One facing with color B to the upper right, and one facing with color B to the upper left. Oops, I think I just did 2, maybe. That's what I get for talking at the same time, right? That way I can just pull from them and know exactly where to sew. All right, because I'm just going to sew all these together first. It might be off somehow, but we'll figure it out. So on this pinwheel, you can see that color, we'll call this color B. Color B is to the upper right on this square, and it's the upper left on this square, right? But when you turn this around, it's the same thing. So I need to attach all of these the exact same way. So color B upper right and the color B upper left. And I'm just going to take these like this. I like to kind of lay it out in front of me so I know the orientation of it. And I'm going to flip this top one down onto this one. And I like to put my thumb on the side where I'm going to sew. I'm going to sew this side. So I'm going to hold it up here. So by the time I get to my machine, I don't forget where I'm sewing. So I'm holding it up here and I'm going to nest these seams. Luckily, because the way we ironed them, they nest beautifully. We have this seam here and this seam here, and they're going 2 different ways. Okay. And if you're ever unsure, you can open it up again and make sure you've got the right way. But I'm going to go under here. And we're going to do chain stitching once again. We're going to go through all of these at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And just, you can check and make sure you're all nested in the corner there. And I'm just kind of holding it. I'm holding my finger on that corner that needs to be nested, and then everything else just stays in place. So once again, I'm taking my upper one here, I'm folding it down, and I'm putting my hands up where I know I need to sew. Nesting my corner, bada bing, bada boom. I love to quilt and have for years. Bag making is newer and I love it too. Sewing is great. The pinwheel block is great, isn't it? I hope your foot heals soon. That's really difficult. I don't think we realize how much we use all of our appendages until we can't use one of them, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's hard to do a lot. Back in high school and college, I had the worst ankles. I was always on crutches or in some kind of a brace, and it's very limiting. That was many moons ago. Non-weight bearing. Oh, I bet you are bored. Ugh. Don't you love it when people tell you you should read a book? You're like, I've read all the books. So I'm just taking time on each one and trying to make sure that the bottom right corner is nested together. That's why I kind of pause each time, because I just don't want that one to slip. Could I clip it or pin it? Yes. Would that perhaps be better? Yes. Am I going to do it? No. I'm not. You know, when I was in bed rest with my second, I read a bunch of books, I listened to things, and then for the first time in my life, I started watching hilarious shows that I would never watch, which I may or may not admit to, TLC shows and such, and got so into them. It was pretty funny. I'm not much of a TV watcher. Okay, here's our last one of these. And then we're going to cut these apart and sew them or iron them open. Oh, hey, Sammy. It's been on your list? Well, girl, you know how to get it off your list? Make a quilt block. Just make one with me. It's fun. Piecing is very therapeutic, I think. Doing the rest of the quilt, not so therapeutic. But that's okay. Okay. So now I have these, and I need to come back to the ironing board. Okay, so now I'm just going to take them. Now this is the one, I have to think about this for a minute. So if I have my quilt, I'm going to put them all the same way. Just a minute. I'm going to figure this out, how to iron them so that my next seam will be nested. I want the seams to be opposite so when I put them together, they're not bulky. So let me think about this for a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to orient them all facing the same way. They've all got color B down to the right. So the very first one, I'm just going to just open it up top. Okay. So if I were to do the same, we're just going to, oops, did I do that right? We're going to do a little experiment, okay? If I were to do it the exact same way, and this goes together, up, down. Amazing. Okay. So we're going to do them all the same way. So I have my stitching is up here and my color bee is down to the right. I'm going to do them all up like this. And that's going to make it so that they're opposite. I love it when a plan comes together. Just love it. He's going to be the most adorable little pinwheel in the world. Hopefully. Just a minute, my computer keeps deciding to sleep. Don't sleep, computer. How beautifully you're built. Boom. All right. Let's go back to the sewing machine. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna drink of water here. You hate putting the borders on. Yeah, it's a pain. Okay. So, did it take you back to me? To make sure I pushed it right. Yes, okay, good. So now we have these. They're all facing the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put 5 facing this way, all right? And then I'm going to stack these. I just kind of always like to get things set before I start chain sewing so I know that I'm going the right direction. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Okay, so in order to make these pinwheels, I just go bleepity bloppity. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same method, and I'm going to take one from the left, fold. How's it going to be best in my hand? Yeah, okay, I'm going to put them like this way, just for my hand. Okay. Now I do want to point something out. Can you see right here how this corner, it looks weird, right? Like there's this extra thing hanging down right here. And you might think, oh no, my corners are off. But that's going to be where the seam is. So that's correct. It should be hanging over just a little bit like that. 1/4 inch. Shoot, which pile did I get this from? I have no idea. Doesn't matter, they're the same. Okay, so I'm going to take one from the top. I'm going to fold it down. Same method so I don't lose where I'm at. And this time, the seam that I want to nest is right, hopefully you can see this. It's this center seam, all right? The seam allowance on this top part is going this way. The seam allowance on the bottom one is going this way. So what I like to do is I like to get this, and I like to really push it with my thumb. And I'm going to hold my thumb on that. Put the rest of it under my machine. And just keep that seam together. Now this is a part where you could absolutely pin it. In fact, here, let's actually show that. This part right here is a great place if you're wanting to pin it. So it won't move. Okay, so we'll do one pinned. All right, now we're going to put it under here. I know that my middle seam is going to be together because I pinned it, so I don't have to put my thumb on it right now. Okay. And then, as we get closer, I'm going to take my pen out, actually, because I don't trust it. I trust my fingers more. Just keep making sure. Okay, and before I chain all these together, I am going to pull this first one out just to see how we did, to see if I need to make any adjustments. All right, so we're going to open this up. Oh, Mamma Mia. Look at that. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, that was satisfying. Okay. Top one down. Right sides together. 1/4 inch. And now I will chain stitch the rest of them, or chain piece. Once again, I'm just always working with this. Middle seam is the one I care about. Remember that we cut our squares slightly large. So they're actually going to be trimmed at the end. All right. That is 2 of our 5 done. Let's do 3 more. Okay, 2 more pinwheels, and then we're going to iron those open and trim them. And then we're ready to put together our block. All right, one more. Hi, Hazel. How are you? You're just joining. I know Siah normally does this, but she is in the thick of making a new pattern. So we decided I would do this one. I said, let me at it. Okay. So far, there's only been 1 triangle casualty. Not bad. All right. I've cut these apart. Now we are taking these over to the ironing board. All right, so same thing. I'm just going to go set that in there, open it. And I did see this awesome tutorial about how to open the back of a pinwheel. You make snips in it or something so that this back part opens up. So if you don't like the big thick middle that this is going to have, try that. I just haven't tried it yet, so I won't try it right now for the first time, because that would just be so silly. That one didn't meet up perfectly. I still love you though. You can stay. You can stay in my quilt forever. That one's good. That one's medium, but it can stay. That was pretty good. Okay. We've got those ironed. Now we're going to head back to the sewing machine. Take another drink of water. Bada bing, bada boom. The squares that I started with were 3 inches. We want these to be 4.5 inches. And you can cut your original ones a little bit smaller. I tried 3 inches. I tried 2 inches and 7/8, and I tried 2 3/4. I did all 3 of those, and none of them were perfect. And so I just decided I would err on a little bit bigger and trim them just so I can be perfect. So I wanted it to be accurate. Okay, so because these are bigger, so if I put this on my, I'm going to move my camera just a little bit here. Just a minute. So you can see the cutting area. Okay, so let me see if I can move things just a little bit. So if I measure this right now, it's at 4 inches, 4 3/4. Okay, 4 3/4 this way, and this is 4 3/4 this way. And so it's just barely too big. All right. So the way that I'm going to get it to 4.5, because you want to measure from the inside. All right. And so you want it to be 4.5 total. And so the way that I'm going to do it, hopefully I can do this in this space. Can you guys see this okay? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take just a minute and take this table off just for this part so I have more space. Oh, that's better. Okay. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line up the center of my square on the 2 1/4 inch mark. Okay. So I'm going to go 2 1/4 in the middle. And remember that middle seam is kind of bumpy. And so you just, because it's a pretty thick one. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it 2 1/4. I'm going to turn it. Keep making sure it's not moving. Or you could buy an actual 4.5 inch ruler. They make those. And just go all the way around it. You just line up the centers. So, if I did it right, then this should be 4.5 inches square. And it is. Okay. So we're going to go around that. And the reason why we go all 4 sides is because we want to make sure that that pinwheel is still centered. And just get into a routine. I'm just going to always rotate it the same way. Rotate it clockwise. Or whichever way is most comfortable for you, just always do it the same. And one more rotate. And I'm cutting off approximately 1/8 of an inch from each side, which is why I thought, well, I'll just start with a smaller square. So I did that. It still wasn't perfect. It was still a little big. So then I went smaller, and that one was too small. So I couldn't find the happy spot. So you could absolutely find a better way to do this if you wanted to cut the initial square at the exact. It would be somewhere between 3/4 and, or 2/4, 2 3/4 and 2 7/8 is the sweet spot. And maybe my seam allowance is just funky. I don't know. But I'd rather go a little bigger and trim than have a square that's too small. Because that makes the next step a little bit difficult. Now, I will say, if you're making an entire quilt out of the same thing, and you're doing your own thing, then keep them all the same size. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But we're trying to fit this with our other blocks, and they're 12.5 inches finished. And so that's why it matters, because we're trying to make them all the same. All right, 2 more. Cutting from the center. Once again, I'm lining up the center line on 2 1/4 inches because I want my entire block to be 4.5 inches. And I really want my pinwheel at the center. I can't remember if I already did that one. Yeah, okay. 1 more block. And then we can lay out our square and piece it. So we've tried to do this quilt block of the month so that it kind of like gradually becomes more and more. Like the first month it was just literally piecing 9 squares together, right? And then we introduced half triangles, and we introduced that other one that I can't remember what it's called. And so now this pinwheel, you can tell it was just a few more steps, but it is just half squares. It's just triangles made with squares. But we had to do it to 5 of our blocks, so it's just a little more time consuming. All right. So here we go. No more cutting. Put that away. I'll kind of lay this out so you can see it. So that's going to be our center. Like that. Then you could just, this color C could be the same as A or B. You don't have to use 3 colors if you don't want. Because this is it's pretty loud. It's a pretty loud square, but. Okay. So now we're going to piece that together. Shall we? We shall. Hi, Christine. Okay, so I won't put the table back up on it just so you guys can see this. So the way I like to do it is I'm just going to, because I always have to know where I'm at. So I'm going to do the old fold it down on top, put my thumb, and we're just going to piece this. And if we've done it right, they're the same size. And if we haven't done it right and they're not the same size, split the difference. It's your quilt. It's just easier if it's the same size. Bless you, Carrie. All right. Then I'm going to pull this one down. Zoop. making sure nothing's pulling weird. Once again, you can absolutely clip it or pin it if you'd like. And then I'm going to pull this one down, right side to right side. Okay. So then the way I like to do it is I like to just lay them back out. Like that. Just because I don't want to lose my place. All right? Now I'm going to do the same step, but I'm going to pull the top one down on top of it. I don't have to iron yet because I'm not doing anything with that seam that we just did. I can wait till the next step. That one somehow was not exactly the same size, so I've done something funky on that one, but it'll be okay. I'll be able to make up for it in the next step. Sometimes one fabric stretches and the other doesn't. That might have been what happened here. Yeah, it is what's happening. Okay, and then this one down. Boom. All right, cut those apart. And to the ironing board. All right, so when I'm thinking about ironing my seams, I think I'll go up, down, up. So this one's going to go up, up. Did I get it? Maybe it doesn't matter because I could just turn it around. Let me think about that. Yeah, that's dumb. I could just flip it, can't I? Yes, I can. So I'll just do them all up and then I'll flip this middle one. Flip it. All right. And back to the sewing machine. Hi, Yvette. Okay. I've got my seams going opposite directions. Excellent. I'm going to hold my thumb in the first seam. And now I'm just putting my thumb in the second seam. Awesome. Okay, finish it out here. Now I do have to pull this one off. I'll open it up, make sure I'm stitching it to the right side here. Awesome, it totally worked. Okay, now I'm just gonna go bloop. Okay, just a minute. Okay. Thank you. I love these colors too. Okay, I'm just putting once again my thumb in that very first seam. Awesome. Okay, now I'm gonna, right as I get past my first seam, I'm gonna put my thumb, my fingers on the second seam. And sometimes things don't fit perfectly, and so you just kind of make them fit. You kind of mess with it until it fits. All right. Last time to come over here. I'm going to set this seam and open it. This is when you get to see how it all worked. Oh, beautiful. The corners look amazing. Okay. And I just like to really kind of pull it in different directions with my iron, just to make sure everything is laying out the way it's supposed to, so you don't get any crazy crinkles. All right. Let me switch cameras one last time. And I'll bring this up. I just did something crazy. All right. There is. So here we have it. It's a little crazy because I chose, you could do a solid here instead. Mine's a little crazy, but you've got pinwheels in one, and then you have the color in the other. You could also, I could have just done white here, right? And then you would just see the pinwheels, but whatever. I'm really on scraps, so it is whatever I have big enough to cut. So there it is. There's our square. It's another 9-patch square, because anything that's built in 9 squares, these are all called 9 patches. And the variation for this one is that 5 of them are pinwheels. So once again, we started with 3-inch squares for the pinwheels. We had 10 color A, 10 color B. Put those together. We did the whole draw line down the middle, sew on either side, cut those open, and then sew those together to make the pinwheel. So that's it. I hope you guys liked November. I wish I had more of this so I could make 3 of these, but I don't. So happy quilting to all of you, and be looking for Siah's new bag. I'm going to go print it out. Give it a try. Hey! All right. Bye, everyone. Bye now.